Hello everyone, we have something a little bit different for you this week. Because I can't storyboard, the way I do all my prep for my films is I do visual boards, which is essentially just pictures that I grab random people or actors. In this case, I used my roommate and best mate Rogan, who's on the left there. He'll be playing every single character. So yeah, what I've done is I've just done a little side-by-side comparison for the Short Film Council because I thought it'd be interesting to see kind of behind the scenes on how I plan everything and prep it. You can see there on the left, that's my shot list. So I do a little Excel spreadsheet where I figure everything out, I write it all down, and then to help out as well, I do these visual boards. So as you can see, there's some slight differences. Like here, I kind of split the difference on the shot on Simon here. So then when you get up, that's where it is. Sometimes I'll do two shots to show where a move is. Sometimes I'll just pick something in the middle. Here we go. We have some mock-ups of the logo. I can talk more about that at the end. But here we are. I like to do the visual boards in the same location because then you can figure out the geography and lighting, and you can. It's always good to visit where you're going to actually be shooting before you shoot there, so you don't get any nasty surprises. So here we're in Hackett Hall dining room in St. George's Terrace, and you can see there's lots of tables and chairs and things that we had to move out of the way before we could film. And now we're gonna. You can see what was actually out the back of that room there. We tented it and we put a little. So he just kind of goes into blackness, but there was just another dining hall on the other side of that door there that we just kind of pretend didn't exist. But for that little section, when there's action and when there's kind of, I want people to be surprised and kind of shocked out of, the sense of comfort they might get lulled into, I try to use handheld camera work. So basically when something crazy is happening, violence or something shocking, I went for handheld, and then everything else was nice, steady, locked off camera moves or dolly shots. Here we go, this is our second location. So this is the old Hackett Hall, same name coincidentally, at the WA State Museum. We actually shot here like a week or 3 days or something before it was closed down for renovations for the next 5 years. So it's currently still closed, I believe, and it's never going to look exactly the same as it does now. As you peer around here, you see on the left there was some sort of miniature village that was set up in the hall when I went there to do the visual boards, and it was open to the public at the time, so people were walking around, so you'll see a bit of that. On the left-hand side there, just my mate Rogan looking like Godzilla walking through the tiny town. Here we go, we got a little hip-hop montage, quick little cuts. We got a little POV shot here. The way we did that on the day is I wanted to do it in one shot where I just whip pan from one side to the other, but Pat, our rather talented DOP, suggested that we shoot one and then pan right, and then we shoot the other one and pan left, and then you just roll one in reverse, and then hey presto, nice little cut in the middle, and it looks like you got one whip pan, and each one finishes in the perfect little spot. So that was a good little call on the day. Now we're into the meat and two veg of the short. Basically, at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of characters talking in a room, which is nice and cheap to film and quicker than big action set pieces or anything like that. And when you're making short films for small amounts of money, it's clever to keep your ideas simple. Here we go. You can see on the left my dollies, especially the next one, were meant to be a lot more longer and dramatic, but in the end of the day we were restricted by our dolly track, and our dolly, which was from the 60s or the 70s, so we kept it to one length, which kept it a lot smoother. And now we're into kind of Councilwoman Price interrogating young Kane. Because I had so much time to think about, how I'm going to shoot basically just a conversation between two people, what I really had fun with is the kind of levels of the camera and the slowly creeping in as things begin to get more sinister.
You have conducted yourself admirably this year.
So now we've changed to Price at a low angle, looking up at her, and then on the reverse, we're looking down at Kane. So as you see over these next few shots, we've got the camera on a dolly, and as things become more and more tense, we're going to slowly creep in and exaggerate those angles even more. So the idea is we start at even keel, where we think things are going well, and then as soon as it gets turned on its head and things start to go downhill for Kane, we racked up the angles, and we started to slowly creep in as the conversation goes by, and it just kind of gives that sense of claustrophobia and intensity. Oh, there's my little split diopter shot. I love that one. Everyone makes fun of me for that.
Do not waste this council.
And, we were shooting this. I think we shot Nicola's side of this conversation. Nicola, who played Councilwoman Price, I think we shot her at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So if you're impressed by her performance, just imagine trying to do that at 3 o'clock in the morning and, surrounded by a team of people who've been working for the last 10 hours, and it becomes all the more impressive. Obviously, Liam's doing a great job here as well. I think half the job of being a director is finding good actors, and when you got two of the best actors in Perth, you don't really have to do much as a director. You just got to sit back and enjoy the performance. So these guys definitely saved my life there. And here we cut to a POV, and we're whipping across back to our guard. In a minute, we'll be back in handheld land as the violence ramps up. Here we go. And he gets knocked in the face. There's one still shot in there, but that was by accident. Not by accident, but a necessity of the edit. If you look closely at Liam's lie detector on his arm here, you'll notice that it's held together with gaffer tape. When all the shops are closed at 3 in the morning, and you need to fix your lie detector machine that you've created, a bit of gaffer tape at the back of the band there always works. But no one's commented on it, so we've gotten away with it. Liam's jumping up back here. You'll notice Stone isn't in this shot, Attendant Stone, just a hand there. We did some trickery with him using a body double for some of the shots. I didn't want Adam having to wait around all night just so he could have an arm or a leg in shot. So you'll see on the next one of the next shots, I'll point out it's quite obvious that we used a body double, which was James, the producer on the film. You go on the guards. You'll notice the blue shoulder pads. The guards don't hurt anyone, and the guards with red shoulder pads are the ones that end up as the killers. This is just a little Easter egg I put in there for anyone who was paying attention. So we're moving on. This next one is probably one of my favorite shots, and if you look where Stone is, you'll just see the back of his head. That's actually James, our producer. So no one's caught me on that one yet. A little bit of movie magic in the background. And a wry smile from Price as a little nod to the audience that she's not all that bad. Finishing with a wide on Hackett Hall there. That was actually the shot I wanted to open the scene with, but the dolly backwards as Kane was walking down the stairs ended up being a lot more tense, so we went with that and switched the two around. Back in Hackett Hall, nice bit of slow motion, walking out there. Look over the shoulder to Mario. You'll see on the next shot the beauties of shooting in 6K. That's the same shot as the previous one. We just cropped all the way in before it got too fuzzy. I just wanted a little bit different framing for that second shot and didn't have the time to do it on the day. Finishing with a nice, long, dramatic, slow-motion dolly shot of Kane taking his long walk away from the council chamber, getting stopped by Dan here, who, interestingly enough, was also the guy who helped design our logo and shield. He's a graphics designer with a company called Go Modern Creative. He did the website too, if you want to check that out. You can see on the visual boards here, there's a big window we had to block out to make the scene a little bit more moody. And our final shot, which is a nice slow turn. The whole idea is that Kane's life has kind of been turned upside down at this point, so I thought, oh, it'll be fun to literally turn the world upside down with that final shot, which is just, again, a 6K high resolution framing, and then we just cropped in and spun it in post. And here we go, we've got another look at the logo. So on the left you have some of the mock-ups that Dan Ampero, our production designer, put together. And then on the right is the final product with the help of other Dan, creative, Go Modern Creative Dan, and all his work. So there you go, there's a little look into the behind the scenes of how we put Council together. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to post a comment or send me a message, and I'm happy to help in any way I can. Thanks, guys.